There's a moment in everyone's life where they look around and wonder, is there more to this than meets the eye? Maybe you felt it while scrolling through never-ending social media feeds, or when the usual tricks to improve yourself stop delivering results. Modern life has a way of drowning out our curiosity with a flood of repetitive content. Same advice, same routines, same jokes, except the ones about your in-laws, which can get a little too real. But beneath that noise lies a fascinating possibility. Maybe the answers we need are hidden right under our noses, in a place most of us overlook. That's what non-obvious thinking is all about. Learning to see what others miss, unearthing opportunities that our brains tend to gloss over in the daily rush. Some people think it's a gimmick. Others call it a superpower. Personally, I believe it's a bit of both. A potent blend of curiosity, discipline, and that little spark of rebelliousness that makes you say, why the heck not? So if you're ready to spice up the way you see the world, buckle in, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. We're about to dive into the unconventional side of thinking, and by the end of this journey, you might never look at your daily routine or your search history the same way again. Why we need non-obvious thinking more than ever. Take a quick look at the past few years, and you'll see why fresh perspectives are in high demand. Our modern age is practically defined by oversaturated content. Countless self-help gurus, conflicting health advice, never-ending pop culture debates. Trust me, I'd rather watch paint dry than listen to one more argument about which superhero is the strongest. Everyone seems to shout over everyone else, and the result is mental chaos. You know what chaos does to our brains? It makes them look for shortcuts for anything predictable and simple. We become like hamsters on a wheel, spinning through the same old ideas. That's where non-obvious thinking steps in. It's not just about spouting witty lines at parties. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of autopilot reasoning. In the sea of hot takes and clickbait, the real gold often hides in the corners nobody's bothered to explore. Companies that spot these corners, like those that pivoted quickly during big global shifts, often come out on top. Individuals who see them can reinvent their lives. And the best part, you don't have to be a genius or a massive risk taker. You just need a willingness to question the usual SHD and embrace the unusual. Plenty of skeptics argue that non-obvious is just a buzzword. They claim it's simply a fancy way to say, be creative. But there's more to it. Most creativity stays stuck in the realm of ideas. Non-obvious thinking is about systematically digging for possibilities no one else sees, and then turning those possibilities into real, tangible changes in your life. Think of it as creativity on steroids, but with an actual game plan. The SIFT framework and its controversies. Two names pop up frequently when we talk about non-obvious thinking: Rohit Bhargava and Ben DuPont. They're known for promoting the idea of a structured method, nicknamed SIFT, that helps you uncover insights hiding in plain sight. Each letter stands for one step. Space. Clear out physical and mental clutter to make room for genuine innovation. Insight. Go beyond face value answers. Observe, probe, and let curiosity do the digging. Focus. Identify the core problem or idea by filtering out the noise. Twist. Flip conventional wisdom on its head, turning normal into something fascinating and new. Sounds straightforward, right? Except some critics accuse Bhargava and DuPont of packaging an age-old technique, brainstorming, introspection, or simply getting rid of junk into a shiny new acronym. Rumors have circulated that their method is too formulaic, ignoring how messy and unpredictable real creativity can be. And yet, there are success stories everywhere, from small indie startups to major companies that use these very principles to carve out a unique edge. Who's right? The cynics or the cheerleaders? The truth probably lives somewhere in between. Non-obvious thinking won't turn you into a mind-reading wizard, but it can dramatically shift your perspective if you stick to the core discipline. Questioning the usual, listening deeper than you typically would, and staying brave enough to say, this might fail, but so what? When the world flopped, Dick Fosbury and the power of ignoring tradition. If you think about ignoring tradition in a literal, sweaty, adrenaline-fueled context, few examples are as iconic as Dick Fosbury. Back in 1968, he showed up at the Olympics to compete in the high jump. Traditionally, jumpers use techniques like the straddle or scissors. Imagine someone valiantly hurling themselves face forward over a bar. That was just how it was done. Then came Fosbury, who took off running, turned around, and flopped over the bar backwards. Imagine you're in the audience. You'd probably think the guy was either joking or had won too many tequila shots the night before. But guess what? He cleared that bar and took home the gold. Soon enough, everyone else followed suit because his ridiculous flop turned out to be the best method. What does that have to do with modern life? A lot. How many outdated musts do we follow daily without questioning them? Ever heard someone say, "We must check emails first thing in the morning," or "You must hustle 24/7 if you want success"? Fosbury's leap reminds us that sometimes you need to show tradition your backside, literally, to find a better way. It's a fantastic example of non-obvious thinking in action, twist at its finest. Creating space, the luxury you can actually afford. Here's the part where you might roll your eyes. Yeah, sure, I'd love to free up mental space by meditating on a snowy mountaintop, but I've got bills to pay, a baby to feed, or a pet that keeps terrorizing my brand new sofa. Don't worry, no one's insisting you spend 6 months in a monastery. Space, in the SIFT sense, is about carving out micro moments to declutter your mind. Physical decluttering, whether it's your workspace or the chaotic trunk of your car, removing physical junk has a strange way of freeing mental capacity. It's like magic, clean desk, clearer thoughts. Mental decluttering. This is trickier because we're often bombarded by notifications, news, or that old high school friend who sells questionable supplements in your DMs. You might not escape it entirely, but can you turn off your phone for 15 minutes a day? Maybe that's enough to reset your brain. Not convinced? Think of all the times you've had your best ideas in the shower or while on the toilet. Hey, no shame. We're all human. That's space in action. You're not actively overthinking. You're in a weirdly calm state, and boom, the light bulb goes on. This is why so many successful people swear by simple acts like daily walks, journaling in silence, or grabbing an extra minute to breathe. The next time you curse your phone for lagging mid-Instagram scroll, consider that you're signed to chill for a second. Your next big breakthrough might be brewing underneath all that hustle. Insight, listening beyond the words. Imagine you're at a dinner party, and some random dude is ranting about how the world is doomed. Standard conversation these days, right? While everyone else rolls their eyes, you pause to ask him more specific questions. Where did he first learn about this? How does he see himself dealing with these looming threats? Suddenly, he reveals a personal story about a near-catastrophic moment in his life that changed his perspective forever. The entire table goes silent, and you realize there's depth behind his doomsaying. This is insight, the act of looking deeper than surface-level chat. Bhargava and DuPont emphasize that real insight begins when you stop trying to impose your assumptions and start pulling on threads of curiosity. Most people ask yes/no questions because it's easier. Non-obvious thinkers dig for backstories, emotions, and little side details that others dismiss. In a business meeting, that might mean probing your team for the story behind a failed project. Rather than scolding them with, "Why'd you screw up?" you discover a chain of miscommunications that leads you to a brand new approach nobody had considered. However, critics call this approach naive or even manipulative. Aren't you just searching for drama or personal pain to exploit? If done unethically, sure, it could cross a line. But think of insight as shining a spotlight into someone's hidden corners, not to pry, but to understand. By seeing what's under the hood, you tap into truths that a 10-second answer could never reveal. Once you have those truths, your potential solutions get 1,000 times more precise, and sometimes 1,000 times crazier in a good way. Focus, where good enough becomes great. Who doesn't love multitasking? Everyone claims they can do it effectively, but we all know deep down that simultaneously typing an email, having a quick Slack conversation, and trying to pay the cable bill is basically a recipe for losing your sanity. Focus breaks through the illusion of multitasking by forcing you to decide what truly matters. 5 whys. a tried and true technique where you keep asking why until you're sure you've reached the root cause. Kids do this all the time, and it drives adults insane. Maybe because it works. Satisficing versus maximizing. Psychologist Herbert Simon famously showed how folks who aim for good enough satisficers often end up happier than those who endlessly chase perfection maximizers. That's not an excuse to churn out sloppy work, but it's a reminder that if you're stuck tweaking your resume font for 3 hours, you might be missing bigger fish to fry. This is another place non-obvious thinking riles up controversy. Some people claim the push to focus on what counts can border on reckless minimalism. They argue it sweeps important details under the rug, which might cause bigger problems down the line. But ignoring every trivial detail can free up mental bandwidth for the real game changers. If your brain's a hoarder, you'll never see the big picture. And if your brain's constantly cleaning house, you might never get any damn thing done. The sweet spot? Knowing exactly which tasks are trivial and which ones hold the key to your next breakthrough. The moment you find that balance, watch your productivity shoot through the roof, and maybe your sarcasm levels too. But that's all part of the fun. The twisting point, turning the familiar upside down. Ever walked into a hotel that brags about being the worst hotel in the world, or a taco spot telling you to think outside the bun? These iconic marketing twists come from the final step in SIFT, twist. The Hans Brinker budget hotel in Amsterdam decided to call itself the worst hotel on earth, which sounds like marketing suicide. But guess what? Budget travelers loved the brutal honesty and ironically turned it into a badge of honor. Taco Bell used think outside the bun to position itself as the anti-burger. That rebellious swagger made it stand out in a market saturated by golden arches and big clown shoes. Twisting the script can be edgy and may spark controversy. Some onlookers call it manipulative, saying it's a cheap trick to get attention. And yes, in the wrong hands, it absolutely can be. But consider that the best twists aren't empty stunts. They reveal a fresh angle on an old concept. In your personal life, a twist might mean rethinking your workout routine, like ditching the treadmill for a weekly hip-hop dance class that makes you sweat and laugh hysterically at the same time. Why stay stuck in the same stale routine if flipping it inside out might bring you better results and a fun story to tell at parties? The main challenge? Twists often defy logic at first glance. They make people uncomfortable. They raise eyebrows. But that friction is exactly what can generate excitement, curiosity, and loyalty, whether you're building a brand, forging a new relationship dynamic, or reinventing your daily schedule, so it works better for your weird circadian rhythm. If you feel a little anxious about changing it up, that might just mean you're on the brink of something big. Modern-day twists, bringing SIFT into today's world. Now let's connect the dots with a modern spin. Our world is grappling with everything from remote work shifts to insane social media algorithms that seem determined to show you the same cat video no matter how many times you scroll past it. In this environment, space can be as simple as setting a 30-minute airplane mode block every afternoon. No distractions, no drama, just you and your thoughts, scary as that might be. Insight in a modern day might involve reading the comments section with genuine curiosity, rather than just seeing it as a toxic pit. Yes, 90% of those comments might be fluff or worse, but every once in a while, a raw gem of truth reveals itself. Like a user shining a light on an unaddressed need or an overlooked perspective that could reshape your entire approach. Focus could mean ignoring the 15 new productivity apps you've downloaded because, ironically, they're making you less productive. Perhaps the biggest modern trap is drowning in life hacks until your eyes glaze over. Stick to a single method, like the 5 whys for a month. Master it before you move on. You might find real change instead of fleeting gadget high. And twist? Look at how content creators are reinventing themselves on TikTok or YouTube by merging unexpected styles, like comedic cooking channels that also address mental health. That might have seemed bizarre a decade ago, but now it's a smash hit. In your own life, ask if there's a way to merge 2 or 3 passions you normally keep separate. Sure, you might fail hilariously at first, but that's half the fun. If you never risk looking silly, you'll never discover those sweet spots where creativity thrives. The call to adventure. Non-obvious thinking might sound a bit lofty, but it's remarkably down-to-earth when you give a chance. Fosbury didn't let tradition fence him in. Dyson saw vacuum cleaners in a whole new light, and Taco Bell took a playful jab at burger supremacy. Each of them pulled off a twist that changed the game in their respective arenas. With the SIFT framework, space, insight, focus, twist, you have a roadmap to do the same in your own life. Whether your current challenge is launching a side hustle, surviving your family's holiday reunion, or simply trying not to lose your mind in a barrage of daily tasks. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Controversies will pop up, people will call your new ideas weird or downright insane, and you might question your own sanity a time or two. But that friction is where the magic lies. Embrace a bit of chaos. Ask deeper questions, clear some mental space, and don't be afraid to twist conventional wisdom until it squeaks. So, as you log off today, or more likely, switch tabs for the next dose of internet goodies, remember this: the best opportunities might not be in the spotlight. They're lurking in the dimly lit corners, just waiting for someone like you to say, "Hey, what's that weird shape over there?" And that question could be your ticket to a remarkable breakthrough. Thank you for spending your time here, and hopefully for challenging some of your own assumptions along the way. If you feel the spark of an idea tickling your brain right now, don't let it fade. Chase it, question it, twist it, and watch as something extraordinary comes to life, something only you can bring to this world. After all, if someone can flop their way to an Olympic gold, maybe you can flip your daily routine into a bold, hilarious, and undeniably you version of greatness. Until next time, keep looking at the obvious, then ask yourself, what if I flip this around? You might just become the next unstoppable force that people never saw coming. And trust me, that's a hell of a lot more exciting than living life on autopilot.